to be joined by our good friend Holden Krusemark there in Oklahoma City. You gave us a lot of betting advice last week. Took some of that to the bank, literally, and now some I would say some. I don't even know the word because I feel like surprised is almost disrespectful to this team given their expectations in the season.
I
But
don't I don't think it's wrong though.
yes, me
I
too. Okay,
I think it's surprising, you know.
right. I
How
go.
I mean, how many teams walk into Tuscaloosa and walk away with a win?
That's right.
No one under Kalen DeBoer.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And I would actually stretch it out the last 2 weeks because, and maybe I'm just using my own biases here because I did not pick them against Tennessee. I did not pick them against Alabama. And they go on the road to Neyland and to Bryant-Denny, two really tough places to play, and they're able to get a win. What did you make of the way that the game played out there and being able to force those turnovers and for the Sooners to get that win?
Yeah, and the crazy thing about this team is you just sit there and you go, man, if their offense could just be like slightly above average,
Yeah.
then like, holy cow, like the sky's the limit with this team because this defense is, clearly elite and good enough to compete for a national championship. But they're being held back by the offense a little bit. And the offense is able to do enough to get wins. Obviously Tate Sandell has kind of been the MVP for this team just because, the offense isn't really getting the ball in the end zone, but as long as they're getting it somewhat close enough for him to kick a field goal, the dude's just been nails this year. So, if they didn't have this kid, and it's funny, I remember over the offseason, one of my friends he saw the news about Sandell transferring in. He's like, "Oh, this is big." And I was like, I mean, he's a kicker from UTSA. Like, what do you know about UTSA football?
And the shorts get shorter every time he makes a kick.
Shout out to my friend. Obviously, he had been
knows
watching
ball.
UTSA football, and he knew Tate Sandell's the truth. And yeah, it's crazy to think about where this team would be without him. They definitely would have a couple fewer wins on their ledger right now.
Absolutely. Brent Venables always, does a great job of scheming up defenses. And one of the big things with this team is being able to take the ball away from the other team. You saw it in the Auburn game with the sacks, you saw it in the Bama game, both on the defense and on the special teams. What did you make there of Brent Venables' game plan against an offense that came in? They were struggling a little bit going into that game, but over the course of the last month or so, they've been playing really good football.
Yeah, and I remember there was a point in time this year where I think OU was one of the last teams to force a takeaway on the season, like in entire FBS. And you were kind of like, well, it's kind of weird for how good this defense is that they're not forcing turnovers. And now here they come in, and I mean, to force it, 3 turnovers against an Alabama team that really takes care of the ball.
Right.
That was pretty impressive to see. And, hey, maybe they didn't need the turnovers early. They were saving them for later because they knew they'd need them against the likes of Alabama and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty crazy watching this defense. In fact, going back to
Did we lose it?
I think we might have lost him there for a second. Might have lost him.
Okay. Well, I mean, we'll see if we can get him back. But but one of the big things that I thought of going into that football game was, and I think he was about to hit on it, the fact that they're so deep. Defensively, and we saw it with Wine. R. Mason Thomas, they're one of their best defenders, was not in the game at all with an injury. Wine comes in and he was phenomenal. As we try to get Holden back on, here is Coach Brent Venables on trying to shut down their next opponent because it's another good opponent and it's another good individual player coming off a 300-yard performance last week, Ahmad Hardy.
Yeah, I mean, you got to win up front. I mean, if you're gonna. I think that's where it starts. They're doing a great job of knocking people off the line of scrimmage, both the inside and outside run game. They're all their gap schemes, and they do a nice job with all their presentations. But that's where it all kind of starts. And then you got to have great discipline in your run fits. And they got an excellent play action, and passing game off of that. They're not, naive. So again, if you got a great rush defense, then they're going to want to stay on schedule. So the quick throwing game, the screens, the boots, the shot plays, the trick plays, the flea flickers, and reverses and all those kind of things to test your discipline. Very option principle, concepts, except they throw the ball, better than most option teams. So just all the things that, that I just said it's going to take, the physicality, the discipline, reading our keys correctly for running past, things of that nature.
Absolutely. We got Holden back, and he was talking there about stopping Ahmad Hardy, but it kind of leads to the bigger point that you were talking about with this defense overall, playing shorthanded without one of the best defenders on the team, or Mason Thomas, not on the field, but guys just stepping up on that deep defense.
Yeah, I think the OU defense forced another takeaway on my Wi-Fi connection there. That's the only explanation I've got here is they're still doing it in the middle of the week right now. They're getting ready for the Missouri game. So yeah, this I think will be kind of one of the more interesting matchups, because we've talked about how good the defense is, particularly against stopping the run.
Yeah.
And Missouri maybe has the best running game that they've faced, just in terms of what Ahmad Hardy's been able to do for them. And I know he had a big game out last week. So it'll be really interesting to kind of see, what both teams try to do to, for OU to try to slow him down. If it's just, hey, we do a good job already, or do we need a game plan for him a little bit more, or what? And is Missouri going to be like, hey, it's pretty hard to run the ball against these guys. Maybe we should throw it. Maybe we should listen to our guy Holden Krusemark and abandon the run game against this OU defense, But I know they're without their starting quarterback, so I can't imagine that they're going to want to throw the ball too much. So I would take the under on whatever the total points is for this game, just based on the way.
We'll get you that right now.
Based on the way the OU defense has played, or the OU offense has played, and
right.
The way the OU defense has played. It seems like this one might be a pretty low scoring one if I had to bet on this game.
All right, I got it. It's 42.5.
So that's.
And Oklahoma's by 7.5.
7.5 one favorite.
Quick math.
Estimated score 8 divided by 4 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4.
I could see it being 21-17.
That's in that neighborhood. It's in that neighborhood.
Yeah, right around there.
Yeah. That's in that neighborhood. So, honestly, I could see that as well. A lower scoring game. I didn't know what the weather's supposed to be like. 54 degrees, according to AccuWeather. It should be pretty decent there. It's 11 a.m. Kickoff. That's one of the things I wanted to ask you about as it relates not only to this team, but as they get ready for this next football game on offense. I think I read that the 212 yards, 220 yards on offense was the lowest total in an Oklahoma win, and I don't know how long. 220 yards feels like 1950s football to be able to come away with a win. What do you make of Ben Arbuckle's offense and the way that John Mateer played in the game, getting the win, even though the numbers, the counting stats weren't as gaudy as usual?
Yeah, it's not very often you see a team get outgained by nearly 200 yards and win on the road.
Right.
That's, pretty much unheard of. College football is a wacky sport. It happens from time to time, but I'm sure if you told Brent Venables, hey, you're going to get outgained by nearly 200 yards, he would be like, well, I don't know if we're going to win this game against Alabama.
Right.
But, it's interesting. I know Xavier Robinson kind of left the game at one point, and that kind of affected them. They're saying they're a little banged up at running back, which they kind of have been for a while now. I don't think Taylor Tatum has played a single snap this entire year. Javonte Barnes hasn't played much, or hasn't played at all. He's been injured. So it really has kind of come down to just Xavier Robinson and Torrey Blaylock, and Blaylock seems like he's been battling an injury. I know he had a shoulder thing early in the season, and it seems like he's kind of been battling through that all season. So, it really, here we are coming back down to it's how far OU goes is going to be on the shoulders of John Mateer, because we know the defense is going to make some plays and keep them in it. But can we get the Mateer that, helped them win the Michigan and Auburn games, or the Mateer where it's like they've kind of been winning in spite of him?
Right.
Because he, just isn't. He just hasn't been the same. I mean, obviously, you break your thumb, it's pretty hard to be the same guy after that until you're fully healed. And while you keep taking hits, I don't think you can get fully healed on a thumb and all of this stuff. So yeah, Mateer to me is just, he's going to be the deciding factor of how far this team can go. If he can play like he did early in the season, this is a team that has a real chance at going to the semifinals. I'm not going to say that they're a national championship team, but this is the team that, with that defense and the right matchups, that they can win a couple games in the playoff. And the way they're going right now, they're kind of in line on track to host a first round playoff game.
Right.
And so that'll be pretty cool to see here in Norman. You get to host a playoff game, and just, I'm sure the atmosphere is going to be pretty crazy for that. But you have to take care of business first, and you got to beat Missouri, and you got to beat LSU. And was one thing that I was talking about with some of my friends after the game. I was like, can you imagine the discourse around this OU team if they finished the season 9-3 by losing to LSU at home to end the season?
I know.
Oh, man.
I know.
That would just, you would get some of the most
rivalry.
toxic opinions about this. You'd have, I mean, this team that won on the road to against Tennessee and Alabama. You've got good wins against Michigan and stuff, and then just to
There's no coming back from that.
This team in the past has talked about how they haven't handled success well.
Yeah.
It was one, thing a couple years ago where they beat Texas in the Red River rivalry and then lost to OSU and Kansas on the road and kind of, derailed their season and everything. And so and they beat Alabama last year, and then they were very uncompetitive against LSU in the finale down in Baton Rouge. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, they're up there in terms of success that they've achieved this season right now, and now it's how can you handle it? Because Missouri and LSU aren't going to be pushovers. I'm sure LSU still wants to win. They've got a couple former OU players on their roster, so that's probably something on their minds and everything. So I just don't expect either of these teams to be pushovers, and the offense has got to do some things. They can't keep living like this. It's worked so far, but they can't keep living like this.
Yeah, it feels like they are living on borrowed time with this offense, and it's been a package deal. The two new guys that are in Norman, Ben Arbuckle and John Mateer. Let's hear from the OC on his QB1.
I think it comes down to, it's not one just singular thing. It's maybe I got to call him more, or John's got to throw it, or we got to come down and make the catch, But at the end of the day, we do have to do that to be able to generate explosive plays, push the ball down the field, and continue moving to get the ball in scoring position. And so we have to continue doing that. We have to practice it. We have to rep it. We have to demand it. And ultimately, we have to go out there and execute it.
Well, I tell you what, Brent Venables last year was on the hot seat. And I think now, looking in hindsight, Oklahoma controls their own destiny to make the college football playoff, and I think he should be very mad at Jackson Arnold, because Jackson Arnold almost just cost him his job at Oklahoma, and now Jackson Arnold probably will never throw another pass in college football.